A-N-N, last name is S-I, M like Mary, P like Peter, K-I-N like Nancy, S like Sam.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. It's important that people see who the women are who are protecting our children. And I'm proud to stand with school safety agents and mothers like Quyanne Simpkins and grandmothers who are out here every day unarmed, protecting all of New York City's children. Our next guest, as we say, it takes a village, and it takes every one of us to protect our children and to protect our communities. And I'd like to introduce Chief Laren from the NYPD School Safety Division to please come and say a few words to us all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Davids. Thank you, Jackie, and to all the parents that are out here. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are doing everything we can in our power to make sure that all young people are safe in and outside of our schools. We work very closely with our partners on patrol in the Detective Bureau, with the Department of Education, to monitor things that are going on even off hours. So we are not going to give up. We're going to do absolutely everything in our power to keep every young person safe, even the ones that are doing things that they should not be doing. We want to intervene and put them on the correct course. So we thank you for this opportunity, and I just wanted to let you all know that we're here for you and we'll be wherever you need us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Laren. Our next speaker is Mr. Alpheus Marcus.
Thank you. What I would like to know is, how long do we have to wait before a shooting in our schools take place? Do we have to wait for a Columbine or a Sandy Hook? We have to wait for one of those shootings to happen here in New York before we put preventative measures in place. The city has wasted numerous money on preventative programs, responsive programs, but not preventative. We have the NCOs and the YCOs within the police department. We would like to see them more active within some of the high-risk and problematic schools throughout the city, because no parent should have to deal with the loss of a child. I know I've helped countless families regarding this situation, and it's not fun. And it's not something that you can literally sit there and watch. We need Mr. Adams. I understand he's been here for 100 days, but he was around in Brooklyn as the Brooklyn Borough President, and he's seen this amount of shootings in Brooklyn. Now he's in charge of the whole 5 boroughs, and there's been a spike. And some of his programs that they've been funding, they've had anywhere from 25 to 60% spikes in shootings, and they're getting funded. It's time to go the preventative route. It's time to start getting these YCOs, because that's the purpose of them, to be inside these schools. This is the 40th precinct, is a problematic area, and they should be visible. No parent should literally have to deal with having their children not come home. We shouldn't have to be doing these press conferences. These press conferences without a solution means nothing. It's empty. We're tired. The bail reform, if they haven't done it, it needs to be restructured. There's a problem. We are calling on Mr. Adams, as soon as he gets better, as soon as he gets healthy, to revisit his thinking in regards to some of the practices that he's taken. We need undercover cops back in the plain clothes unit. That's what's needed to deter some of this violence. I thank y'all for coming out, and I hope that this is a resonation for the problem and a solution as opposed to being responsive. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is District Leader Reverend Irene Estrada.
God bless you. Retired from the Board of Education, every day we have a word. Our word for today is accountable, accountability, cuenta, as we say in Spanish. You look at the politicians, you look to the right, to the left, to the north, south, east, and west, and the condition is not getting no better. We stand here with school safety agents because we know they are the angels in our schools to protect our children. We need more of school safety agents in the schools, but we also need them to be better trained. We're going through a crisis that the condition is not changing, so we need to equip them better to protect their lives as well. We need to put school safety and NCO workers outside with auxiliaries from every precinct outside the communities on school dismissals and early morning. We need parents to be accountable for their own children. Parents, understand this. The Bible says, to train up a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. My 2 daughters are NYPD. I was their first investigator. I was their first detective. I was their first instructor. Don't bring stuff into my house that I don't know what it is. Show me your friends and I'll tell you where you're going.
That's right.
You are accountable, parents. Go home today, as your children are in school right now, go home and go through their drawers, go through their closets, go through their book bags, go through every single contact they have in their iPhone. $1,000 iPhone, but you ain't got no discipline. $1,000 iPhone, but you talk back to your mother and your father. But the same way they talk back to you is the same way they're talking back to the police in the street, school safety agents and the teachers. See, correction begins at home. You can run to Mayor Adams. You can run to the church. You can run to the street and all the politicians and blame them for Bell reform, because that's exactly what they need to be blamed for. But God gave you those children to be accountable, to raise them, and to prepare them for a life. An everlasting life that is being cut short by guns. Let me tell you something, violence has no color. So don't bring me this black and brown community nonsense, because as a Christian, as a woman of God, we know we're all men and women of God, and we need to deal with what it really is. If you cannot respect authority, then you ain't got no God in your life. Because God said you got to respect the law of the land. Children got to respect the law in their home. Parents got to respect the laws of their one another relationship, husband and wife. But there is something missing in the home, and they're all crying out, my father's not home. My mother is absent. I was in the shelter. My excuse is this. Let me tell you something. We have met successful stories in the school, in Olympics, in professions, in church, and they all had their glory, and it was their testimony that got to where they are. We have a problem. I want you to think about this. How is a student who is 16 years old going to walk into a school with a book bag with $30,000 and a loaded gun? Where can that happen? In the Bronx? Or in the 5 boroughs? We have a problem. The problem is the parents need to look through their book bags before they leave the school. Don't bring your gun that you got from your house into the school. Because now I think that instead of arresting the children, maybe we should start arresting the parents. Because you're not doing your job. As a Christian, we are accountable. God says we have to be. You cannot say, Mayor Adams, you got to be accountable. Politicians, you got to be accountable. School safety organization got to be accountable. It's going to rain on you. Judgment is coming. Are you ready? Because if we don't take heed to what needs to be done now, there's going to be a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is parents, do your job. Go and take a look at what your children have in their book bags. Don't bring your guns into our schools. Stop killing our own children on our block, because we have had enough. You know, yesterday, which is Sunday, on Allenton Avenue 4 days ago, there was a shooting. Pelham Parkway Houses had a shooting yesterday. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you are in. We have people who are hardworking Bronxites that need to know that you are respected. Homeowners, that you are respected. People who are doing the right thing, you're respected. Children who are in school, who are making good grades, they need to be respected. Those are the kids that we need to have good programs for. The ones that are doing the right thing. Because apparently the programs that we got for the wrong people ain't working. So we need to focus on what are we going to do and how we're going to go ahead and build up the army of God, the army of parents who are doers, and do something about it ourselves. Start monitoring your buildings.